We're good. We're recording. Hey everybody, it's Dan Rakovich, and I'm here with Terrie Magro from the Michael Magro Foundation. And we've got a big car show coming up this Saturday. This is the third or fourth?
No, actually, it's probably like the 8th or 9th.
8th or 9th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
really
we've been
great.
doing this for a while.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Before we get into the car show and all that's about, can you, for the people that are out there that don't know you or don't know your story,
Mhm.
can you tell everybody about your story and how the Michael Magro Foundation was founded?
Sure. So the foundation started in 2004, and to date back a little bit, in March of 2004, my youngest son Mark, who was 11 at the time, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a cancer of the lymph nodes. He was in the middle of treatment when Michael started to feel a little off, and we thought he had the flu. It was in May of 2004. Brought him to the physician, his pediatricians, and they said he had pneumonia. So they were treating him for pneumonia. A week into that treatment phase, they saw that the pneumonia brought leukemia to the forefront. So his actual diagnosis was leukemia. So the two of the boys were in cancer treatment at the same time, which was absolutely crazy. It was really insane. But you just pick up and you do what you have to do. And we were very fortunate to have a lot of family support. So my dad was bringing Mark to radiation. Myself and Paul were bringing Michael to chemotherapy. But unfortunately, Michael's the type of cell he had, and being 13 and a half, the cells were multiplying faster than they can keep control of them. Just they're multiplying faster due to the hormones. So they're in that hormone phase, just growth and development. So unfortunately, again, Michael had a very rare cell. He was in a high risk group, and he was diagnosed on June 8th of 2004, and he passed away on July 30th of 2004. Mark had just finished his last radiation treatment. Michael ended up on a ventilator, and then a week later had passed away. So at that juncture, we were like, oh my God, what are we doing here? So we decided that we had to put our energies into something positive. And, now I have a cancer survivor as well. So as much as you want to put your head into the sand, you think to yourself, oh my God, I can't do this. And so, my background clinically is a nurse.
Okay.
So as a nurse, you talk to a variety of different people. Maybe a little more than you would hope to know, because you're dissecting every word that these physicians are telling you. But we decided afterwards that we would put our energies into trying to help families direct, because as we walked through this whole journey, we realized how much money goes between your fingers, and your budget, your day to day, your month to month budget that every family has is totally wiped away, because you cannot have a child going through chemotherapy and be working full time. It's just utterly impossible. There are too many variables, too many things that happen. So as we did that, we decided that we would form the Michael Magro Foundation, keep his memory alive and in his honor. And our mission is to help the families with offset some of their medical expenses, some of their day-to-day expenses, be able to give them gift cards so that they can put gas in their car, because it's amazing how much money you'll spend in gas, tolls, if you needed to come over a bridge, parking. Parking can kill you. At some of these hospitals, it's really, really expensive. And so, an extra $50, $100 to a family, or 200 or 300, is a lot of money that you're putting out in directions, and you can't even do what you need to do. And so your family unit is turned a little bit inside out. And families having other siblings, those siblings kind of fall between the cracks a little bit. So we tried to pick up those pieces and think about those siblings. So once we started the foundation, the next idea was, okay, now how are we going to raise money, and how are we going to let people know that we're raising this money to help folks directly? So we contacted all of the hospitals locally that have a pediatric oncology division. So that's the Medical Center, Cohen Children's, NYU Winthrop Pediatrics, NYU Winthrop's Cancer Center for Kids, Stony Brook, developed a website and started talking to the case managers, the doctors, the social workers, which was my level of comfort of reaching out to them and saying, we're here to help. So you identify the families and tell us how we can help, whether it's paying a utility bill directly, helping them pay their rent, giving them a gas gift card, a card to a supermarket so that they can purchase food for the week for that. At the time, there was a Toys R Us. Now we don't have that anymore, but we still be able to find fun things for the other kids to play with. And so the siblings, some of them may just want to go to Panera or, have coffee at Starbucks, and they're asking everything's $20 right there. So
Right.
you give 20 here, 20 there, and you don't have 20 here, 20 there anymore because you're doing so many other things. Your deductibles are higher these days. Your out of pocket is a lot higher. And so you're trying to make this money that has now been cut because of the work situation for yourself or your spouse, and now your expenses exponentially have gone up. So we really look to do a lot of work with the siblings as well. And one group, my clinical background was always adult surgery, so I wasn't familiar with child life specialists, but that's a group of professionals that are masters prepared people that help the children with medical play. And through that interaction, they really get to understand what the kids are going through, and the kids can talk to these people because they don't feel like it's the doctor, the nurse. They're not going to come after them with a needle or some piece of equipment. They're just playing the PlayStation game and they're talking to them. And it's just a very comforting situation. But everything you do for child life has to be fundraised. So we decided that fundraising would be, the biggest part of what we did, in addition to grant writing and so corporate donations of reaching out. Of course, we're a 501c3. Our board is all volunteers, so we really have a tremendous board behind us. And our biggest event is a tasting. It's an evening of tasting and giving, which this year comes up on October 1st at the Carlton.
That's coming up soon.
That's coming up soon, right? Yeah, and that's a lot of fun. My husband Paul is a chef, so a lot of the local restaurants participate and they all donate the food. So we really have a great support system behind it to help us with our mission. Another area that became very, very popular, Paul works as an instructor in the culinary division at Barry Tech Bose's in Westbury. And
that's where the car show is going to be too,
teachers, right? All of the teachers from that school had come together quite a few years ago and said, Paul, why don't we do a car wash and a car show? So we started this a few years ago as a small event involving all of the students at the school that wanted to be involved. And I'm very into giving community service and helping all of these kids. So it was a great way to do that. As the car wash and car show events started to go on the past 3 or 4 years, Tom Galati, who was a board member of ours and very, very instrumental in growing the car show to where it is today. So we were bringing in a few thousand. Now we're up to, 10,000 and sometimes higher. And really, in all honesty, it's due to his work because he really puts the time and energy. His wife is very involved in making it a fun theme and a fun day for the kids. So we do all sorts of arts and crafts, and Paul students cook. But it's people like yourself, Dan, and Allstate that have been so instrumental in helping us get to the next level, both financially and helping the families because of your support, your donations, your sponsorship. So I'm extremely grateful to Allstate for being our corporate sponsor for the past couple of years with the car show. It's been really great, and that gives a lot of notoriety, and it brings a lot more people because then the community's involved, and you're very community oriented, and you try and just get that point across that you're there to help the 501c3s locally in the community. The money that we raise basically does stay in the communities that we're servicing. We do have a portion that come to us from outside of the area, and that's through the website. But those people are vetted, and we work with those social workers and people as well. But we do apply for a lot of grants, so that helps to offset some of that. We have tried in the past couple of years to identify a family, and I think it was last year that we brought back one of the patients that you were responsible for helping to go to a dance camp. She was a
Right. I
dancer,
remember seeing
and
that
she
on
was,
online.
yeah, and she was actually diagnosed with a pelvic cancer diagnosis. So of all things, this kid was dancing since she was like 3 years old, and now she was like 11 and is diagnosed with that. But she overcame it. She ended up going to this fantastic school that she was able to learn a little bit more about dance, and now she's all over the place. And that was a direct result of us being able to help her through the car show. The funds that were raised at the car show, we were able to donate $2,500 to let her go to this particular institution that helped her to learn a little bit more about dancing. And those things are so important because it's important to pay the bills, of course. It's important to keep the lights on and the gas in your car, but you can't forget the person behind the disease. You know, there's still a person behind that. And though that's what we don't ever want to forget. And we want to be able to always be able to help those people in some way, shape, or form. So we work real hard at finding out what they like, what their likes are, what their family dynamics are like, and then work with them to help them achieve things. We just recently had someone bring a Lamborghini to the hospital for a 17-year-old that was being discharged and a real car fanatic. It was just like his eyes were just like bigger
Yeah, it
than
must have been
life.
great. Yeah.
It was absolutely great. And as he's coming around, and it's all glass as you're coming off the elevator around at NYU Winthrop and coming out of the building, and he's like, "Wow, Terrie, look at that car." And I'm like, "Yeah, wow, look at that car." And then he's like, "Where are we going?" "To the car." And he's like, "Get out of here." It was just so like unbelievable. People were like coming from all over to say, "Oh my God," first of all, the car was outrageous looking. It was so dynamic. And then when he got in that car, it was like, "Oh my God." So
I think
it's
that's
great.
one of the great things about the Michael Magro Foundation is that you're touching people right now and helping people in the community, and there's so many things that are being done for the big picture, which is great,
Yeah,
and but somebody right now that family that you're talking about, the siblings, the
right.
patient that's suffering right now, that's long term, that's helping them
Exactly.
out. This is something that you guys are helping out right now that can make a
Right.
difference immediately.
Immediately. And that was really what my goal was, because you see how much, and I saw it with the boys, and anything you could do to just make their day a little bit nicer was just like something great, because everything about their day was focused on cancer treatment protocols. And after a while, they don't even want to hear it anymore. They're like just tired of it, and they're tired of being probed at and everything else. So when you can kind of get to them, teenagers have a special place in my heart, because it's very hard to reach those teens. But the boys were 11 and 13, so that's a tough age group. So we really try and spend a little bit more time with them, and just help them. It's like small wishes, whatever you can grant for them,
Right.
they're very, very grateful for. And so are the families. They really are. So it's honestly, we could not accomplish all that we have done and raised 1.8 million since we incorporated,
Wow.
without the help of people like Allstate and yourself and your colleagues, because your Allstate in general is an extremely generous corporation to help nonprofits. It's really great. Great things come from here.
Allstate
So,
Foundation is great. They do
oh my
a lot of
gosh,
work for the community.
a
They want to be
lot.
local.
Yeah,
That's who is supporting our agencies, the local community. That's who
right.
we are. We live in the community. I live down the block.
Exactly.
So we want to be able to support the community that's supporting us,
Yes.
which is great. What are some of the other events? We've got the culinary
So
tasting
that's the
coming
next
up.
one coming up, and that kind of ends the year for us, as far as large events. But we start the year off with, we have a volleyball, we have soccer, basketball. We do a lot of sporting events, lacrosse, of course, because Michael and Mark both love lacrosse, and Michael lived for lacrosse. That was his sport, and you'll see a 33 on every logo that we have. We take the penguin. Michael loved penguins, so we took the penguin, put a jersey on him with the number 33, which was his number in seventh grade. He was in Hicksville Middle School at the time, so that was his number, which they since retired in the middle school. So we take the penguin and we have him playing golf for the golf event. We have him throwing a basketball. hitting a soccer ball. We play with it. We make him a chef. So we have to work on a little better one for the car show where we'll have him
He's
driving.
got to be driving.
He's got to be driving, yeah. And Tom, we'll probably have him driving a Mustang.
Okay.
Because that is definitely Tom's love. So, you know, we are very blessed to have a great board that really engages, and a few of the board members take on each one of these different events and make it their own. And that's what, you know, giving them the ability to do that really puts their stamp on it, which makes it very different. And their reach then is that much greater. And that's really what's helped, because nonprofits have a tough time. You know, there's a lot of us out there, and being a small to mid-size that we are makes it even a little bit more difficult. Sustainability is a big factor for us because we're here now 14 years and going strong, thank God. But a lot of foundations fizzle within the first couple of years because they don't have enough support behind them. But I truly believe that, like yourself, we were speaking before, social media, getting the word out, letting people know what you do, letting people know the amounts of money that you raise and what you do with that money is very, very important. Because otherwise you feel like you're in a black hole someplace and you're saying, well, I keep writing checks to those people, but I have no idea what they're doing with it. That to me would be very annoying. I like to know, so we're very proactive in letting people know where the money is going, what we're doing. If some of the patients and families want to come forth and talk about their situation and how we've helped them, that's great. But in no way are we going to ever force anybody into doing something like that. Our initiative with the car show this year is to be able to buy some PlayStation 4s. So what we teamed up with another foundation, the Spencer Foundation, and we've been buying PlayStation 4s, bundling with that $250 worth of games that we're downloading, and then extra controllers. So each one of those is a $650 investment, but between buying the PlayStation, downloading the games, and buying an extra controller. And each bed at Winthrop and at Stony Brook will have brand new PlayStation 4s installed. So far, we've put, I want to say probably about 25 of the 60 that we made the commitment for. So that's where we are right now. So we would like to allocate a portion of the funding that we raised through the car show on Saturday at Veritech towards purchasing some PlayStation 4s.
That's great. That's great. Not only is that engaging, but with the video games today, that the interaction with other people, is great. Is great.
It really is. We do have some parental controls on them because in the hospital we have compliance that we need to contend with, and so 1 minute there could be a 5-year-old in that bed, and then there could be a 17-year-old when he's discharged. So the game levels are different sequences, but and they do have the ability then to be able to use their email address and play with different people and continue with games that they may be doing at home. So we do have tremendous cooperation with engineering and the IT departments at the hospitals because it couldn't be done without them. Again, you can't do anything by yourself. You need the village of people to help. So it's really, really great. We're very proud of the work that we've done, and we're very proud of our corporate sponsors and partners. Really, you're really partners, not just sponsors.
Excellent.
So thank you, Dan.
Thank you for all you're doing. The car show is at
Veritech BOCES this Saturday, the 22nd, and that's 1196 Prospect Avenue in Westbury. It's directly across from the Long Island Blood Center. You won't miss it because come 9:30 when all the cars start coming, it's actually, the show goes from 10 until 2. So it'll be great. And we'll do a lot of live streaming. And hopefully you will be as well.
Terrific. Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. The Blue Allstate tent will be there.
Yes.
There's a lot of different car shows, a lot of different options to go out there, but you could be making a big difference in someone's life, a family's life that's local in the community and right away. So that's a no-brainer for us. We'll be there. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Exciting. A lot of good stuff coming up. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks again, Dan.
All right.
Okay.
I want to thank Terrie Magro from the bottom of my heart for stopping by today and sharing her story and talking about all that the Michael Magro Foundation does for our community. If you would like to help a local family that has been affected by pediatric cancer, please consider donating to the Michael Magro Foundation. Thank you.